All right, so do listen up. The plan for today, we're going to introduce the project, the Unit 5 dataset project, and we are, discuss what's going to happen and expectations and that sort of thing. And then that's where we will end the first video, but I'll give you guys some time to get started with that. And then at some point I'll do I don't want to call it a walkthrough for a project that would satisfy the requirements, but give you an example of one. And the reason why I make that disclaimer is because I don't want you to do exactly the one that I do. And there, I don't know, some people that are just so in the habit of just copying stuff that's on the video may forget that this is an original project or an original project for you and a individual project for you. There are a few documents related to it, and some of them are from past years or outside sources, and there may be somewhere that says as a partner or something like that. It is not a duo or group activity. It is a individual activity, which shouldn't make it that much harder. In fact, in many ways, it would be easier. But regardless, let's get started. The project itself is in lessons 13 through 17, and it's just spread out that way as a sort of a pacing guide. But since we're in block classes, it's not going to be 5 days of project. And it's just the reason why there's a 13 without any bubbles is just that's the planning day. And there is a planning guide that goes along with it. Bing bong. And you will get to that in a second. As per usual, any of these apps, any of these projects that have the multiple bubbles, they're all the same. It doesn't matter which bubble you use, so long as you complete it. And even if you don't hit submit at the end, I still can grade it, so it's not even that critical. You just have to complete it. So the project itself, if you go to, and you do need to, go to the planning guide, because this is you need to make a copy for your own thing, and you can get rid of copy of and put your name at the beginning and do your work on that. And let's take a look at the project itself. Okay, for this project, you will create an app that uses a data set. Surprise, surprise, that's what we've been doing for the last 3 weeks. Or I guess data sets has only been the last week and a half, but still. The skills for the 2 weeks before that are the skills you're going to use to manipulate and filter and map and whatever. Use the information in the data set and the tables. Okay, there's a final app. There's the planning guide, which is this, and then a written response, which is not posted yet, but you'll be fine. App requirements, at least 3 screens. Easy to navigate between the screens and no dead ends. Never a dead end. Not that hard. You just need a back or a home button. And if you can't think of what you want for your screens, a home screen or a landing screen or a welcome screen, boom, there's one screen. Okay. Then whatever you want it to do, there's another screen. And then results, there's another screen. So it doesn't need to be 3 different, user interface, user experience type of things. It's just needs to move back and forth. Okay. Put a little design into it. And those screens, as from before, you're going to do a layout plan, not until you have an idea of what you're going to do, but you will be doing a layout plan before you get to App Lab. There are printouts up here at the front. They're on green paper, and they're the 4 screen layout thing that you need to sketch on paper, pen, pencil, whatever, and you're going to insert a copy or a picture of your plans into this box. You all should should have that skill by now. So the app itself, you need to use one of the data sets in a meaningful way towards the purpose of the program. Okay, at least one of the lists is traversed, okay, meaning doing a loop for list.length number of times. You really can't use the information in the list without traversing it. I don't know what else you could do with it in the broader sense. You're going to have variables, functions, conditionals, lists, and loops, which, I mean, that's just every app we've done. So it's not like you're going to have to stretch to get a conditional in there. Comment your functions. Element IDs have meaningful names and no yellow triangles or red squares. In other words, it needs to run. Okay, step 1, decide on the app, the overall idea, and what data you're going to use, which of the data sets you're going to use, and brainstorm how you're going to use it. That's essentially the same step. Once you know what your goal is, you're going to plan your screen layouts. Then you're going to complete the rest of this preparing for coding. Okay, so this step 1 is choose a data set and how you would use them. Then how you are going to deal with that list, plan your screens, then figure out what variables you're going to need to keep track of, which it would include lists. We treat our arrays as variables. What are you going to check for? How are you going to loop through it? What are the event handlers? What are your functions? Once you do that, you're ready to go to App Lab, ready to go to the code.org bubble. This is up as an assignment on Canvas, so this is a do first type of thing. Now, to give you an idea of where you should be going, the list of data sets, there's like 100 and something, I can't count it before, 107 or something, different data sets here. And they have varying amounts of columns, information, and types of information. And they are of significantly, the range of rows varies greatly. For instance, the Netflix content is a couple thousand rows. Like you get down here at the bottom and it has more than 10 pages, significantly more than 10 pages of 100 rows each. So that is a thing that would take a lot to sort through, but I would say take a tour through the available data sets for some sort of inspiration. Looking through specifically, not just the name of the list, but the type of the information that they have. It's always nice if they have some sort of image related. Okay, that's a good way to add some sort of flair or visual interest to your app. But regardless, that's is going to start your app, is figuring out what of the available lists you would like to use. Don't focus on, okay, this is my favorite thing. I love board games. I'm going to use the board game table because I love board games. Look through it and think if you can try to think of a meaningful and useful or interesting way to use the information about it rather than just forcing it in there. Okay, choosing a good topic and having a general idea is more important than choosing your favorite topic. Although choosing your favorite topic tends to make it a little easier as sort of like a slight difference if you're interested in something, but finding something that fits the requirements is your primary goal. So some examples of using the data sets for this purpose. Okay, these are from previous students. Some of them, one of them's mine, but okay, starting with language, click on the button below, first language, suggest, is this one even, okay, rank, get another suggestion. Okay, you can see we have at least three different pages, a home page, a user selects page, and the results page where things are being sorted. This isn't any of these like choose a random thing I wouldn't call super useful, but that's fine. And this one has good navigation. It goes back to the suggestion screen and also back to the home screen. So there's no dead ends. You can keep using it without having to hit reset. And clearly it's sorting through the most spoken languages data set. Okay, this one is using the FIFA World Cup results. And there's a scroll bar that sorts through years. And you click explore. It will bring up the results from that year. And I can't remember if one of these is broken. Some of these I have in my portfolio from students because we were trying to fix it. So yeah, there we go. More info from, okay, that's just a more info about it in general. But the idea of a user input with a slider to choose the year and to give more information. Yeah, I don't think we ever finished the get team function, but that's fine. The rest is pretty much there. Okay, this one is sorting through the top 100 Spotify songs, which I wonder if this is even updated. Top 100, top 200. This top 50. Okay, so this app is actually from a couple years ago when Apple had a top 200 table. So never mind, this one doesn't work right now. This one from a couple days ago, which we added a loading screen, sort of pointless loading screen image. I mean, it's kind of cool because at the beginning, this particular table took a long time to load when the app runs. So it is nice to see something on top just from a user experience point of view. But this one fits almost all of the requirements for the project. It doesn't have multiple screens. But other than that, we're getting columns. We are sorting, filtering, using conditionals. Okay, that's a conditional. There's a loop, functions, variables, etc. Okay, you all have done this, hopefully. My example, my personal example that I would say is probably a little more advanced than where most of you currently reside, and that's fine. I actually am going to do a demo of this on a different video because it takes a little while, but it uses the American Sign Language data set, which it only has 2 columns. So I think that's one of the requirements we use. Is it say is one of the requirements use at least 3 columns? But if you're doing something, I'll show you in a second, this sort of advanced, I would say that's fine. The way this works is you put in some word and you can click on still, which it grabs your user word and the sign language pictures for it. But the complicated thing about this is that it scales based on the length of the word. It has to be less than 10. And so actually that's too many. I need to fix the resolution there. But let's make a shorter one. How about like that? Okay, so this one, and I'll do a demo of this one to show you how you scale based on the length of the word. It also does a timed loop where it shows each of the, it goes through whatever you type in and then jumps to the still screen and the clear, because of the way this works, where one side is moving and the other side is still, and you might want the same word, clear doesn't happen right away. It's its own button. But the key is that, so what makes this complicated is it uses a nested loop. So this nested loop where you have a J loop inside of, or it doesn't matter which one's inside, but an I loop for I is 0 is inside of a for J is 0, where J is tied to user word length. So to do something to every length, every item, every letter in the word, go through the entire list of actual letters and do things based on that. And also the scaling stuff. So yeah, I would say this is pretty advanced for first year coders, as you all are for the most part. But a lot of these concepts are pretty universal. Nested loops, scaling images based on however many images there are, and so on. Okay, so we'll do a walkthrough for the ASL translator at some point, or right away, but in another video. But for right now, you need to do your planning guide and look through the available tables. And when you get to the point where you're planning your screens, there are printout of the 4 blank screen layout things that you can do this to. And other than that, get it done. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. Go.